Hello everyone, in this video I'm gonna talk to you about Demon's freaking Souls, the remake. Started playing this game last week. I'm a Soulsborne, Souls whatever fan. You know, I play all the games, I loved it. All the From Software games. One of the things that caught my attention right away in Demon's Souls, if you're talking about Elden Ring, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, I know you have a responsive attack, but these attacks, you feel like you are in a fantasy game. In Demon's Souls, the vibe is a little different, like completely different actually. It doesn't feel you are holding a PS5 controller in your hand. It feels you are holding the weapon itself. It's so realistic. Everything feels so real. I don't know if it is because of the vibration and the moveset to get all together, but it's so brutal. I like to use shield to parry, you know. If I'm using the shield and I'm using, for example, a claymore altogether, really nice combination by the way. I take the shield, I parry, and I would do the finishing attack, for example. I go from right over here down, right in the blood pipe, right over here, and then shove it in the stomach. And then you remove the claymore and again. You know, it is so real. It feels like you were like finishing someone actually, you know. I know we're talking about a game that we have undead people, we have dragons, a huge gigantic being with body metal armor, a shield with the size of 10 Volkswagen cars or Chevy cars, whatever, which one you prefer. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting like classic Souls experience, and Demon's Souls is completely different. Even on PvP, it's much more, you need to predict more, you need to understand the environment more, have more caution, because the movements are so real, you know. It's not like that blah 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 blah. If you're playing, for example, with the mace and you do like the regular R1 attacks, the movement's like feels like a battle movement, if I can say so. It's so freaking amazing. If you're used to a classic Souls experience, prepare yourself, because it is completely different, much more realistic, much more down to earth combat, even though it's a fantasy game, different from the other games. That is my opinion. You can, I don't know, you can think differently, but that's what I think. I don't know if you are a parry player as I am, but I gotta tell you something. When you play Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter what shield you use, the predictability, it's much higher. You need to understand the timing really well. In Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Elden Ring, you need to press before the attack, you know, in advance. And then you're going to have an animation for the defensive posture. And then you'll be able to parry. It differs from enemy to enemy. It's different from Sekiro, for example, that the boss like performs an attack and you need to press right at the moment of the attack. In Demon's Souls, I played with medium and small and medium shield. The parries in Demon's Souls, they have a mechanic that feels and looks like Sekiro, you know. You perform the parry right at the moment of the attack, most of them. Of course, you have like a small delay. I was expecting a Dark Souls 1, 2, 3 and Elden Ring feel and vibe, but I got a Sekiro vibe. So that is something, if you like parrying, you should know this for sure. The other thing that I really think it is important, I don't mind having an open world game. I don't mind having a linear game. I enjoy both, actually. I was playing Nioh the other day, extremely linear, mission-based game. I was doing just fine. Loved it, you know. A lot of builds as well. But let's go back to Demon's Souls. Even though it is a linear game, you can get really confused with the game itself. Every world that you get in Demon's Souls, you have like sub-worlds. You have like areas in the world, for example, and they have 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. There are things that you need to do. You need to do something in 1, 1. And then you need to do something in 2, 1. And then you do something in 3, 1. And then you go back to 1, 2. That is kind of confusing. I tried the first time playing by myself without any guides at all. Got really confused. And one thing that I hate is missing good content in the game. I'm not nitpicking, but it's something that I feel that is really bad. The 1-1 area in the game in Boletaria, it's not a spoiler, because right in the beginning of the game, in the beginning of the game, you have a knight called Ostrava, and then you have a quest line with that knight. And I did the first part, you know, need to help him out by killing some mobs there. And you have to continue the quest line. You need to meet the guy again. Sometimes I did something in World 2, for example. When I got back, where the freak is Ostrava? Nowhere to be found. I looked everywhere. I searched the internet. Why? Because there's something that this knight gives you that you use mid to end game that is important for me, and I really wanted to do that because it would give me nice loot. What did I do? You can call me like weak. Your mind is weak, you are weak, no problem at all. But what did I do? I used a guide. I'm using a guide to play the game because I don't know, it feels so much better. I'm not missing any content whatsoever. Everything is good, I'm doing everything needed, getting all the items. I really enjoy playing PvP. That's what I want to do. Playing PvP is awesome for me. If I get all the items, I have more possibilities to do builds. For example, Elden Ring, I have 33 builds for PvP. And in this case, as the more you have, the more builds you can build and train and get better. The experience in Demon's Souls in combat, as I mentioned before, is completely different. It's not like an Elden Ring PvP is different. It's much more real. Everything feels real, and you need to understand how to use, even though you are familiar to other games, you need to understand how that works. I didn't yet. Of course, I managed to PvP. Why you should find a guide, and follow guide. The Fighting Cowboy guide on YouTube is flawless, amazing. If you want to play Demon's Souls, just watch the Fighting Cowboy guide. It's amazing. I'm following. I'm having a blast. It's extremely detailed explanation, so fluid. You should do it. But of course, if you like playing by yourself, please be my guest. No problem at all. You should do what you have fun. I have fun doing that. There's something with the world. If you are in a soul form that for example, when you die in the body form, you become a soul form. There are like tiers of world, +1, +2, that you get different areas and missions and NPCs and drop rate as well. I'm not going to explain everything because I'm not an expert. Basically, you need to finish the game first in soul form, and then you need to go like human form, and there are black tiers, total black world tiers that you can play again. So replayability, if you like replayability, and finding different items and working your way through the game in different ways. In those guides, in many guides that you can find, they will explain that, and you won't miss out on any content. So I think you need to watch that out. Watch out, because you might miss a lot of content. From Software Games, they have that, for example, in Elden Ring, you can go straight to Raya Lucaria, right? Raya Lucaria, right? It's the academy, the Magic Academy. I don't remember the name because it's been a while since I've played Elden Ring. And you missed the Tempest Castle. You just missed. You do have that, but in Demon's Souls, I feel because of that mechanic of two worlds, it's a little bit more difficult to find yourself in a linear path, understanding what you need to do clearly. So that's why I would advise you to find a guide. Other thing that I would like to mention, like everyone know this, but something that adds up to the combat is how beautiful and real and polished and detailed the world actually is, so immersive, so beautiful. You kind of feel you are inside the game, that feeling for me was amazing. Like the first area, the tutorial area, when I saw that, was like, Jesus Christ, what the is this game? Amazing, amazing. The landscapes, the way, oh man, it's you have no idea how beautiful this game is. And by the way, I'm playing 180p 60 fps. Imagine if I had like, if I'm flabbergasted by this in 180p in a monitor, 180p monitor, and it's already like making me drool when I see the graphics. Imagine playing that on a 4K, for example, television. It blows your freaking mind. People in Blue Point, they did like an exceptional job. Exceptional job. The game, I mean, something that I saw in this game, for example, of course, I didn't fight all the bosses, but for example, bosses in Elden Ring, they have like a predictability. Even though Demon's Souls has a simpler combat and mechanic, maybe because the game is so real, and you feel like every movement that you are performing in the game, I found extremely difficult fighting the bosses. I wasn't used to the simplicity and realness, and I needed to understand that again for me to start playing Demon's Souls and understanding how the vibe and how the feel felt. And now I understand it's getting a little bit easier. For example, there are bosses that are super simple, but if you are used to, for example, fighting more extravagant bosses like Elder Ring, Dark Souls 3, for example. Basically, if you are fighting, if you are playing these games like Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Elder Ring, Bloodborne, uh, the bosses, they have more mechanics for you to learn. In Demon Souls, the mechanics are simpler, but you need to train your mind to understand how that works. Because if you are used to other games like those I mentioned, you will probably do as I did, get a little confused, dying a few times. But now that I understood how the game worked, Demon Souls, something very important. It's not a game that you will have a lot of bonfires. Basically, if you die, if you advanced a lot in the game and you die, you need to go back all the way. Son, you will get freaked up, sweat. You need to do everything again. Run, sweat, blood, sweat, and tears. You need to do everything again. And it's so time consuming sometimes. Really annoying. That's why I chose to work with a guide. For example, there's this area that basically is like a soul prison, a prison for the mind and the body and the soul. Dude, there are so many levels with keys that you need to find. And you need to go into the dark, fight some people, and then you free some people. They are so desperate. They keep following you, but out of nowhere they punch you because they are desperate. And then you say, should I kill this guy or not? But he's punching me. I shouldn't kill him. He's desperate, but he's punching me. So what should I do? I should flay him, right? And then you rest again in the bonfire, and they reborn out of nowhere. So you should kill them, right? But you have no idea, because I have that problem with ethics and moral by playing games. I like to do everything good the first playthrough. But you feel that. And then you have so many doors and some enemies that if they hit you once, you die like that, have no idea what you're doing. That cycle of coming back to the beginning and then going all the way to the boss sometimes, doing everything again, it's hard. It's difficult. It's not easy. If you have a good memory, just go for it. Play the game. You'll do just fine. I don't have that. I wasn't born with that. So what should I do? I should play the game in an easy way that I have fun. The game has so many other mechanics that are difficult to handle. For example, you have like wait for your items and you have wait for your body stuff, and that will get in your way if you don't understand how to deal with that. So, but overall, it is a really good game, a really different game. If you didn't play the game thinking that you're gonna find, for example, a similar experience to the other games of the franchise, eliminate that from your head. It is, for me, is a completely different game, completely different experience. I'm loving it. You shouldn't miss this opportunity. If you didn't start playing the game because you were having like second thoughts, remove them from your mind and start playing right now. The game is on PS Plus. You can, if you sign that service, you can play right now. It's a PS5 exclusive. Demon's Souls is worth buying a PS5 and playing. Honestly, not lying. It's worth it. And then afterwards, you play Ghost of Tsushima, because it's a beautiful and amazing game. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you could if you enjoyed the video, you might consider subscribing, right? If you could, if you want to, actually. And liking the video will help me a lot. If you played Demon's Souls, please comment below if you agree with me, if you have anything to add up. These are my first impressions. I didn't finish the game. I'm playing. I will get there. But let us talk in the comments. I love talking to you guys. I love, love, love. And see you on the next video. Victorious!